one. Does anybody remember what impressive meant? Evie in Miss T's class. What did impressive mean?
To get attention.
Exactly. It means something is deserving attention. Okay? We talked about attentive. Okay? What did attentive mean? Somebody in Miss Harris's class, do you remember what attentive meant? Ryan? If you're attentive, you're what? You're looking. You're not just looking. Ariana, what else are you doing? You're listening, you're watching carefully. Remember, if you're attentive, you're listening and watching carefully. Okay? And then we talked about the word rigid. Does anybody remember what rigid meant? Somebody in Miss Duber's class this time. Let's see. Liliana, do you remember what rigid meant? If something is rigid, it's very stiff. Okay, good. Very stiff. So I'm going to introduce just a couple of more vocabulary words for you today. Okay? The first vocabulary word we're going to talk about is firmly. Okay? And if you're holding something firmly, you're holding it fairly hard. Okay? If you're holding your pencil firmly, you're holding it very hard. Okay? That's firmly. Another vocabulary word for today is whisk. If you're whisking, using a whisk in a cake, what are you doing? Does anybody know? If you've got a whisk and you're mixing a cake mix, what are you doing? What does it mean to whisk? Elena.
You mix cake.
How are you mixing it? Are you mixing it fast or are you mixing it slow?
Slow.
Are you mixing it slow? When you whisk a cake, are you mixing it fast or slow?
Fast.
Fast. You're actually doing it fast. So when you whisk something, you're actually moving something quickly. So if you whisk out your paper, you're moving it out quickly, okay? So today we've got firmly, which means fairly hard. We've got whisk, which means to move quickly. And we also have venture. Does anyone know what venture means? Does anyone want to venture to guess what venture means? Dario, do you want to try? I thought you were waving your hand. Oh, you don't want to try? Does anyone want to try? Weston, do you want to try? What do you think venture means?
Going somewhere.
Okay, good. To say or go somewhere, even though you're not sure about it. So if you're going to venture something, you're going to try it, even though you're not sure about it. So I'm going to say to say or do something, even if you aren't sure about it. Okay, even if you're not sure about it. So we know that Weston ventured to tell us what the word venture means. Okay, good job for trying that, Weston. Very good. Okay, so yesterday I taught you a reading skill. Ms. Rubio, you want to put up our reading skill?
Yeah, we gotta swap over screens.
Oh,
You want me to do it? Yeah, you got it.
sorry. We talked about the reading skill of inferencing. Does anybody remember? a great story for practicing your inferencing skills. Ryan in Miss Harris's room, do you want to try? You want to venture a guess?
To predict.
Kind of. You're kind of making a prediction. Okay, Evie, do you want to add to that?
So you have what you already know, and you're getting clues from the author, reading between the lines.
That's right, okay? When you're making an inference, boys and girls, you're actually using clues to make a smart guess about something that the author does not tell you. The author doesn't actually come out and tell you something, but you're using what you know in your noodle, and you're using what the author tells you in the text of the story, and so you're able to come up with a conclusion, okay? Remember, it's clues and pictures from the text, what you already know in your brain, to come up with an inference or a guess as to what you think is happening. Even though the author did not specifically tell you, you're guessing at what you think is going to happen. Okay? Now, yesterday we left off when Bear, do you remember when Bear asked Mouse to leave, right? Bear asked Mouse to leave, and he locked the doors, he boarded up the windows, he stopped up the chimney, and he even plugged the bathtub. Give me a thumbs up if you think that's going to keep Mouse out. Give me a thumbs down if you think Mouse is going to find a way to come back in and visit Bear anyway. Because we know Bear doesn't want any visitors, right? How did you know Bear didn't want any visitors? What told us in the story that Bear doesn't want any visitors? Layla? That's exactly right. Bear's sign says no visitors allowed. That means he doesn't want any visitors. Okay, so we're going to keep reading to see what's going to happen next. That's what good readers do, right? And is it okay to read part of a story and then stop and come back to read the rest? Of course it is. That's what good readers do all the time. You might not be able to read the whole story in one sitting. You might have to come back. Carefully, Bear set about the business of making his breakfast. He opened the cupboard. No mouse. Ah, no mouse. He opened the bread drawer. Guess what? Nothing. Whew, Bear said. No mouse. He opened the fridge, and you guessed it, mouse free. Yes, indeed. He lifted the lid to the tea kettle, and guess what? Guess what, Gavin? Let's keep reading to find out. There was the mouse. Small and gray, and well, you know the rest. Bear fell to the floor and wept. Raise your hand if you can tell me, what does it mean that Bear fell to the floor and wept? What was he doing? Jaden Wilson, what was Bear doing when he wept? What does it mean to wept or weep? He's what? He's crying. Okay, here's Bear. He fell to the floor. Can you see those tears? He fell to the floor and he wept. He's crying. My reader brain is wondering why he's crying. Do you know what good readers do? Gianna, do you know what good readers do? What? They read to find out. Good job. Bear fell to the floor and wept. I give up, He blubbered. You win. I am undone. He's over it. He can't take anymore. He gives up. So sorry, said the mouse, but perhaps if I could have just a bit of cheese and a cup of tea, and do you think we could unstopper the chimney and have a nice fire? Bear blew his nose with a loud honk. But then you must go, sniffled Bear. No visitors allowed. You have my word, said the mouse. So what was Mouse asking for? Brooklyn, what was Mouse asking for?
For him to go in Bear's house.
He wants to go in Bear's house, but he wants a piece of what?
Cheese.
He wants a piece of cheese and he wants a nice warm...
Tea.
What did he want? He wanted him to unstop the chimney so he could have a nice warm fire. Good job. Bear unshuttered and unboarded the windows. He unlocked the doors and unstoppered the chimney. And he unplugged the drain in the bathtub. How do you think Bear's feeling about company now? How do you think he's feeling about visitors now? Paisley, how do you think he's feeling about visitors now? You think he's feeling good? What does that mean he's feeling good? Do you think he wants to have a visitor now, or did he just give up and say, okay, Mouse can stay? Yeah, I think he's getting used to the idea of a little visitor, don't you? The author doesn't really tell me that. I'm using my inferencing skills to figure that out. He brought out 2 plates of cheese, 2 teacups, and he made a crackling fire in the fireplace for 2 sets of toast. The mouse warmed his feet and nibbled and sipped, and Bear did too. They sat for a long while. The clock in Bear's house ticked loudly. So here they are enjoying their tea and their cheese, and they're warming their toes by the fire. Do you see that? They seem quite happy, don't they? Bear cleared his throat. The mouse looked most attentive. No one had ever been most attentive to Bear. The fire is nice, Bear announced. Lovely, said the mouse. No one had ever said that Bear's fires were lovely. I can do a headstand, said Bear. Very impressive, cried the mouse. So what's Mouse giving to Bear right now? Lots of what? Lily, what's Mouse giving Bear right now? Lots of what? Lots of attention. How do you think Bear feels about getting all that attention? Yeah, he probably feels pretty good. I like it when people give me attention, like boys and girls in Miss Harris's, Miss Duber, and Miss Turnage's class. I like it. So I bet Bear likes it too. Bear told a joke. The mouse laughed heartily. No one had ever laughed at Bear's jokes before. Bear began to think of another joke. The mouse set down his teacup. Bear quickly lifted the teapot. There's plenty more, he said. So give me a thumbs up if you think Bear's enjoying having Mouse for company. Give me a thumbs down if you think Bear's not enjoying Mouse for company. Okay, I think he is enjoying it. He even offered him some more tea. That was really nice. He didn't tell him to leave right away, did he? So sorry, said the mouse. Most kind, but I must be on my way. Really? You needn't go, said Bear. I am off, said the mouse, springing up from his chair. Wait, cried Bear. But the mouse stepped out the door. Toodaloo, said the mouse. So when Mouse started to leave, what did Bear do? Avery, what did Bear do when Mouse started to leave?
He said to stay.
Yeah, he said, wait, don't go, wait. Okay? So I'm using my inference inferencing skills. I know that Bear said wait, so I'm using my inferencing skills, what I know that the author has said and what I know in my brain. And I think that Bear is starting to like Mouse. The author doesn't tell me that, but I'm using what I know in my brain and what the author's telling me in the words in the text, and I'm putting them together, and I'm making a prediction that Bear's actually starting to like Mouse. He's starting to like having him around. Don't go, wailed Bear, throwing his body across the path. But I gave you my word, said the Mouse, pointing at the no visitor sign. Uh-oh. Mouse is reminding him, you don't want any visitors. Is Bear acting like he doesn't want any visitors? He's not acting that way right now, is he? Maybe he's changed his mind about Mouse. Oh, that, cried Bear, pulling down the sign and tearing it up. That's for salesmen, not friends. Okay? That's for salesmen, not friends. So tell me, how does Bear feel about Mouse right now? Dominic, how does Bear feel about Mouse right now? He thinks of him as a what? Dominic, how does Bear feel about Mouse right now? He thinks of him as a what? Harper?
A friend.
Oh, as a friend, right. Did the author come out and tell you Bear thinks Mouse is his friend now? No. So you had to use your inferencing skills to figure that out, didn't you? Good job, Dominic. Not for friends, asked Mouse, small and gray and bright-eyed. Bear nodded. The mouse's bright eyes glowed brighter, and Bear smiled. So here they are. Looks like they're going back in Bear's house, hand in hand, like they are the best of friends, right? Do you like one lump or two? Said Bear most politely. I like two, said the mouse, and Bear agreed. One lump or two of what? One lump or two of what, Henley? They're having a spot of tea, so they're asking one lump or two of what? One lump or two of what, Ianthe? What would you put in tea?
Cheese.
Not cheese. No, I'm not going to put cheese in my tea. What would you put in tea, Layla? Not sugar. One lump or two of sugar. Good job. And that was a visitor for Bear. Now, I'm just wondering, how did Bear feel about Mouse at the beginning of the story? How did he feel about Mouse at the beginning of the story? Avery, how did Bear feel? What do you mean? Don't just tell.
Really mad.
He was mad. Why?
Because he doesn't want visitors.
He didn't want visitors. So could you say that he didn't like Mouse very much at the beginning of the story? Did he feel that same way at the end? Luke in Miss Harris's class, did he feel that way at the end? Is Luke there? Javani?
He felt like Mouse was his friend.
Yeah, he sure did. So his feelings changed from the beginning of the story to the end of the story, right? Good. All right, so we were talking about inferencing skills, right? And we said inferencing is using what the author says in the book and what you already know in your brain to come up with a conclusion or to make a guess about something that the author does not tell us about. Now we have Miss Turnage who's actually going to expand on the lesson of inferencing. Here we go. Everybody give her spirit fingers. Here she comes. Spirit fingers. Spirit fingers.
I'm back. Hello. Okay, so tonight for homework. Now, the journal thing I showed you this morning, it is not to be done until tomorrow. I just showed you tomorrow's journal lesson so that you would do a great job tomorrow. Okay? I think we need a brain break.
Okay.
They look tired.
Do we want to just do the math break?
They do.
Okay.
Hey, I need you guys to stand up a minute.
Yeah,
Stand
let's
up.
do an exercise.
We're gonna show
Should
you
I
math
pause this?
next. They look really dragging. Let's do the math lesson.
Okay.
We're gonna do the math lesson and then we'll come back to this writing lesson because you need a break. Get up. We're gonna do some Jack Hartman. Stand up, I see you. You can't see everybody, but I can. Stand up. Weston, stand up. Emma, you up? I see the other one's up. Let's see, come on down, Miss Harris. All right. Aiden, stand up, buddy.